Welcome to the Trading Lounge and the Forex report for the Australian crosses, and starting with the Aussie USD. And we are in wave 4, and wave 4s can be a little bit tricky. And as I pointed out before, we may have a situation where this wave 4 here is only 2/3 of the way through. So what I mean by that is, just grabbing my thing. So wave 4 can be here, wave C can be here, wave B can be here, may even have another little low there, whatever, but yeah, and then wave A here. So basically an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, and this will be 5 waves here, and then the drop. So I'm a little bit unsure about that. We're going to drill in and have a closer look at the situation. So I don't particularly want to bring the stop down until I can confirm that wave 4's here. I mean, it's pretty obvious, well, to me, that it is a wave 4. So we will see lower, new lows. So it's not such a big deal about keeping the stop well out of the way at this stage. Right now, this little structure here, it's kind of got like 5 waves in it in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's all there sort of squashed up, really, So it can also be counted as corrective as well in terms of an A, B, and a C for the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave. That works as well. But I just want to take this pattern here and have a look at the New Zealand US dollar, because that pattern on the low, this is a 15-minute chart. So what I was thinking is that this is quite a clear impulse wave for wave 1 and ABC for wave 2. This is all of wave 3 either to here. It's debatable if it can go here, not that it matters that much. And then then wave 4, we could view wave 4 in lots of different ways here in terms of basically a sideways pattern for wave 4 and then wave 5, whichever way you look at it. It's quite a nice 5-wave structure to here. So if that's the case, then we'd be looking for an A wave, a B wave in 3, and a C wave here in 5 waves. There can also be another little low to be made here, and then a push up from here. So in this case, we've got the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave further up here. So the Australian dollar, even though it hasn't made a nice sort of impulse wave like this market here, but if this is an impulse wave, then we'll get another 5 over here. So, unless we see a really nice clean break through here somewhere, through the 61.8%, this move through here, and also below the trend line as well, because this trend line here, I actually fetched it from these 2 tops here and brought it down. So it has got support there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Now, what I also wanted to add too is that, if we see this market moving higher from, say, the previous high here, then you're aware of what's actually going on in this market and also in the Australian market as well. And that would be that we would be in for that larger correction that I just mentioned, an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. And of course, we would be looking, this is the same length here as wave A over here, and we'd look at that in terms of 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5, something of that sort of nature, and then down from there. So understanding what occurs in this little space here will give you a clear indication of what the next trend is here. So maybe on a 5-minute chart here, I can just have a bit of a look here. I can bring into the picture. So we've got the A wave here, A, B, and C for the B wave here. And we've got 1 and 2. And the third wave here is pretty, 1, 2, and 3 pretty obvious. 4's a nice little A, B, C as well. And then we're in the 5th wave now. So we've got wave 1, wave 2, maybe wave 3 and 4 and 5, but it's probably better. Let's just go into a 2-minute chart. Sorry about this. We just want to nail this down a little bit. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and from that wave 4 here, we're looking at one structure here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. A bit of a small third wave here, really, but not too bad. And then the fifth wave here. So, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So possibly it's completed here. That would leave this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 1 here. This would be 5 waves, an A, B, and C here for wave 2. So this would have to be wave 1 of a smaller degree here, and a little wave 2. So really, we want this. Yeah, we want this to stay. We want these lows to stay in play here, if that's going to move up from here. Okay. So getting back to the Australian dollar here for a moment. Let's find it. Here we go. So yeah, and just looking at this. So now it's possible, it's reasonably possible that we can move up here. So let's go into the 15-minute chart and work out, where we should be and whatnot. So, so currently we've got this low here. We've got this as, well, I've got it as an A wave and a B wave and a C wave here. And just, in the in the New Zealand dollar, it's much clearer with a 5-wave structure up here. So I was just kind of comparing the two a little bit, you know what I mean, to look for answers. However, so from this wave C here, it can be an A wave to here, a B wave to here, and a C wave to here. So if it moves up from here, then you know what's going on, okay? That's the main point. Now, on the downside, which is our primary count, that is from here. We just want to drill in here a little bit. Now, we've got these two highs here. Now, I'm not sure which one is which, but it does appear that this would be the simple A, B, and C wave here. Could be here. But either way, I mean, I was thinking that this is 74 here. This, if we took the top of this little structure here, because I can see that this is 5 waves here, okay? So if this was going to be a downtrend, then we don't want that high taken out, okay? So that low here gives us the 50-60% in here, okay? So we can see here quite clearly from this level here that the market was support over here, and now it wants to retest it as resistance, okay? So it's okay for the market to move through the 61.8%, but we don't want it finding support here, okay? If it finds support here and then got a reference point, first high above the level here at 7,420, if the reference point comes in and then gets taken out, then you know that you've got a bit of a problem and you'll be going further up in that case. But if it basically fails to find support on 74.20, then you know that it's doomed at that stage, and we can look at this moving down here further as such. Okay, so yeah, that 74.20 as a tested support or resistance is a real catalyst for the next direction. Okay, but the bias is down. It's just that when I looked at the New Zealand dollar, it made me sort of think, well, maybe this wave 4 is going to get a little bit uglier. The other thing too is that you can also watch the euro as well. Even though you don't trade the euro, the Australian dollar and the euro and that, they're kind of all doing the same thing in a way. So you can kind of watch what's going on there as well. We've got the same dilemma there as well, in terms of patterns as well. So it's not, it may break down there first, and then you can see that, and then you can make a jump on the market earlier here as well. Okay, so the next market is the Euro Australian, and I'm just going to go to the daily chart here for a moment. I just want to have a bit of a look. Right, so basically, at the medium level here, 150, this is perfect stuff really for a classic trading levels pattern where we have the arrival, the reaction, and the first high above the level. And the thing about this is that when this pattern occurs, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, in just about in all cases, it's always the third wave here, the fourth wave here, and the fifth wave here. So it makes it really easy or helps you count the Elliott structure. Once you got the first high above the level, then we're looking for the ABC correction. In this case, it's quite a large one, and now we're looking for an impulse wave up through here. So with that in mind, just roughly here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and looking for 5 here. So technically, we should be coming back to the 144 sort of area here, okay? So on the 4-hour chart, we'd been tracking this up here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So we're looking for the fifth wave high here, which I think we've got in place now. So on the 2-hour chart here, now we even traded this long up here. Now, what I was sort of thinking is, and I've mentioned this before and left it there, that if I'm wrong, then like not coming back to the 144, so to speak, if I'm wrong and the market just has a small correction here and then moves back above the level here and then eventually finds support on and gets the reference point, from that point and then moves up from there, then we wouldn't miss it anyway, because we would be looking for support on the medium level here, 150. So we have traded little sections up here, and then also looking for the move down. And in the move down here is that, if you're going to trade this down, and we've talked about this before, is that you get the first high above the level, the market comes down through here, comes back, retests it. That's your reference point where you're short from, and then down through here. And in this particular case here, we had two retests. So we had another one that went up to here and then down again through here. So it was a little bit messy, and sometimes it's like that, so you just got to, you wouldn't get out of the trade unless it develops support on top of that level there. So it's always good to sort of watch it if you can. So we traded up here a little bit. I'm going to try and make signals a little bit clearer from here on in. So I will be experimenting a little bit, so you have to sort of bear with me a little bit. So I thought it might be a good idea if I can just sort of, get them on the chart a little bit. So, before we had, the words long here, and I'll put an arrow in here now just to sort of make things a little bit sort of clearer. Any ideas are welcome, but normally I'm sort of short for time in, like putting trades in other spreadsheets and posting them on up through the website. It all takes a lot of time. So if I can do it on the chart, it just makes it a little bit easier. And I know that it's not perfect, but the other thing too is that, the time I make the video, things have moved along a little bit anyway. So I've got to kind of preempt things a little bit, So in this case here, we had the move down through here, and then we had the retest here. So we had the move down, then we had the retest here. So that would have been the entry here, that back up here, and then down through here, and so on. So, the market can move further. You can move the stop down to here if you are short here, but that will probably get triggered out. Let me have a look on the 5-minute chart. Let's try and figure this out a little bit here. So, so far we've got a bit of an ABC correction here. I haven't got time to label it, but I can do this here. We've got maybe an A wave here or wave 1 here. Okay, I'm not sure, but this is what we've got to kind of figure out as we go. But then we've got the move back up here, which can be the B wave or wave 2 here. But then we've got wave 1 here, wave 2 here, wave 3 here, wave 4 here, and wave 5 here. So that's probably getting close to being finished here. So we can have an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. So that can be corrective. If it's going to be impulsive, then we'll get a move in due course back up to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree and then down again. If we get that, then we know that we have 5 waves down. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if that's the case, after 5 waves down, we'll get a counter trend. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we'll get a counter trend of an A, B, and C here. And then this one here would make a good short here. Because we got 5 here, we know we'll get 5 over here. So currently we're at the bottom of wave 3. So currently we're just just there. Okay, so I will save that so we can just track it through a little bit. Okay, the pound. Now the pound has got to 2-1, so we have to expect a correction here as well. I'm a little bit unsure about the wave count up here. This is how I've counted it here, so I can't get the rest of it in, but there's wave 1 here of intermediate degree and wave 2 here, and then wave 1, wave 2, 5 waves up here. That I'm happy with that. It gets a bit confusing in here, I have to say. So I may have this wrong. I may need to come out 1 more degree here, but I'm not far off here. I mean, but still, the main point is that, you know, we will be seeing some sort of correction at this number here. So there's not a real lot to be said or done here at the moment on the. I mean, this should pull back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, this one here, or even this one here. On the 15-minute chart, we can look at, I think I made a bit of an error yesterday. We had this, I still had this here as part of an ABC here, but I think it fits better with 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 5 waves up for wave 5 here. So I think that, you know, we're going to get a reaction here, which we've started to already, of course, but a 3-wave counter trend and then another move down through here. So we're likely to see, you know, a correction at that level there. So yeah, no trend, just choppy price action. If you see 3 waves here, then you got yourself a bit of a short trade here, and it could come down lower back into these areas here. That's what I'm sort of thinking, but we need to see a little bit more evidence for that to occur. Okay, I just want to have a quick look at the Australian yen. Yeah, so this is a little, you know, between the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar, then this particular pattern is kind of halfway between the two of them, really. So the wave 4 here is pulled back to the 38.2 retracement level, so it's done its thing. But I don't know if there's more to it yet. Do you know what I mean? So I just don't know if this is I don't know if it's completed there, or we've got a B wave to come in and then a C wave here. I'm not quite sure how this wave 4 is going to pan out here. So we just have to wait. I mean, you could short it. You know, keep the stop above there and look for, you know, a 60% move back down this way here. And you might get lucky, we'll be able to work it out and we can move further down through here. But as it stands, yeah, it's sort of got that little sort of semi sort of impulse wave up there, you see, in terms of 15, sorry, this is a 15-minute chart here. I don't have it labeled, sorry about that. But 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. It is overlapping here, but it's still a nice structure to the upside. It can be counted corrective too, I know that, and I've done that on the Australian dollar, but on the New Zealand dollar it can be counted as 5 waves. So yeah, I'm expecting a correction here, do you know, pulling back to the 50-60% sort of area here. in this sort of area, 90-50 sort of area. So we can expect it to come lower. I just don't know how it's going to pan out in the bigger picture yet. So we're in a wave 4. We don't normally trade wave 4s. It's a nice size wave 4, so it's doable. And at this particular point in the junction, I'm just not quite sure where we sort of fit in this, but we should be coming down from this point. All right, that's the Australian crosses. So thanks for tuning in. Cheers.